Welcome everyone. My name is Małgorzata ZAKRZEWSKA, and on behalf of Małgorzata, KOSAۯA and Szymon, JAROSZ, I will represent our team from Krakow University of Economics in Poland on 37th International Business Information Management Association Conference. The subject of our virtual presentation is Project Management Competences in the Light of Revolution 4.0. The project has been financed by the Ministry of Science and Higher Education within the Regional Initiative of Excellence Program for 2019 to 2022. Let me start with the plan of the presentation. At first, I will present the research problem at the background of the research questions. Next, I will talk about the model of project management competences, research methodology, and will show you the research results. At the end, I will sum up research considerations. So, let me start with the term of Revolution 4.0 and why it is important in project management. The fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0, is the ongoing automation of traditional manufacturing and industrial practices using modern smart technology, for example, the Internet of Things. Revolution 4.0 and the changes that it determines to a very large extent on project management and the predispositions of project managers. The subject of the competences of project managers in the condition of Revolution 4.0 discussed in the presentation is very important and is of great importance for the personal development of future project managers. Taking into account, for example, advanced technologies that are implemented in project management as improvement tools, it can be seen that the competence guidelines of project managers will be changed. For example, the research among students published in 2020 by JAROSZ and ZAKRZEWSKA shows that students are not fully aware of the consequences of Revolution 4.0 and their impact on changes in the labor market. It is argued that automation should help project managers focus more on decision-making and less on repetitive project monitoring tasks. This approach to project management is difficult and involves several critical challenges. For example, where human intervention ends and automation takes control, who decides to change when something unexpected happens? At this point, it is necessary to consider the essence of selecting the appropriate competences for project management and education in this field. In the subject of project management, many questions arise about the competences of project managers. We present you selected 4 research questions that were accompanying us during the survey. At first, what are the key competences in project management? How to measure the competences of project managers? What level of competences should be in project management? And what are the determinants of the project's management competences? The authors of the Project Management Competency Guidelines, for example, International Project Management Association or Project Management Institute, can help in answering these questions. These items present complete sets of competences divided into clusters. In our research, we use the IPMA competency model, a model for a wider application because it presents not only competencies for project management, but also for program and portfolio management. The model complies with ISO standards. International Project Management Association Individual Competence Baseline shows competences in 3 clusters: people, practice, and perspective, which form so-called Eye of competences. In the cluster of practice competences, there are project design, requirements and objectives, scope, time, organization and information, quality, finance, resources, procurement, plan and control, risk and opportunity, stakeholders, change and transformation. In the cluster of people competences, there are self-reflection and self-management, personal integrity and reliability, personal communication, relationships and engagement, leadership, teamwork, conflict and crisis, resourcefulness, negotiation, results orientation. In the cluster of perspective competences, there are strategy, governance, structures and processes, compliance, standards and regulations, power and interest, and culture and values. Our research was preceded by an analysis of scientific articles that indicated the areas of development of project managers' competences. Many scientists are backed by the IPMA competency model, both version 3 and 4. We decided to check how important individual elements of competences are for project management. The study was prepared based on the competences of individual competence baseline version 4. We conducted 48 interviews with project managers, project management trainers, certification assessors, and company directors. Some of the respondents performed several of these roles on a daily basis. In the interviews, we asked them what projects they manage, what position they work, how old they are, what experience they have in project management. The most important question was related to the level of competences that project managers should have. When we collected the necessary information, we started analyzing it. Now I would like to present you the research result of the study in 3 stages. At first, I will shortly present you the characteristics of the respondents. Then I will go to the statistical results, I mean correlation and regression model. So, let's start with the characteristic of respondents. Among the 48 respondents, we have 22 working with investment, administration, and industrial projects. 6 of them are working on R&D projects, 16 people working in education and consulting institutions, and 4 representing the media and telecommunications sector. During the interviews, respondents indicate their daily job role or function. 19% of respondents were senior management representatives. 52% were project or program managers, and 29% were agile practitioners, for example, product owners or scrum masters. During the interview, respondents were asked how they assess the importance of individual IPMA ICB for zero competences for project management in the light of the changes that there are consequences of Revolution for Zero. They have 29 competences, 10 from people cluster, 5 perspective cluster, and 14 from practice cluster. Their assessment was based on a Likert scale from 1 to 5, where 1 means very little importance for project management and 5 very high. During the analysis, we developed average scores for entire cluster of competences and, as you can see, divided into sectors. Moreover, we checked the correlation between the respondents' assessment and the sectors in which they work. The analysis did not show any statistically significant relationship. The next step in the analysis was to create a linear regression model that took into account the project sector, position, experience in years, experience in the number of projects, gender, and age of respondents. The linear regression method was used to investigate whether the characteristics of the respondents and their profession had an impact on the level of competences in 3 clusters. You can see the regression model that was created as a result of the analysis on the slide for people competency model. The regression model showed that a significant independent predictor of the importance of a competency cluster in people is the role of a project or program manager. The linear regression model showed also that none of the analyzed features is a significant independent predictor of the assessment of the importance of perspective and practice competency clusters. We are very close to the end of my presentation, and it is time to sum up the research findings. The attempts to quantify the level of competences were a pilot study. In the slide, you can see 5 key findings, both from research and literature analysis. At first, International Project Management Association Competency Model, Individual Competence Baseline version 4, is one of the most popular competency model among project managers, also in practice and also in the area of science. The ICB 4.0 covers all significant areas of project management, and it is the cause that the ICB 4.0 is a universal guide adapted to a dynamically changing environment of projects. The analysis of the dependence of the level of individual competencies on type of project did not show any relationship. And according to project management experts, the study respondents, people's competency are much more important than practice and perspective. Thank you very much for your attention. In case of any questions, please contact me via email.